Why did you go to law school? Now, this question is incredibly tricky because it seems basic, simple, and straightforward, and yet it gives so many law students, myself included at the time, a really hard time to answer it because usually the real answer doesn't play that well in an interview. So what are we supposed to do? Well, in this video, we're going to break down the best way to answer this question that allows you to be genuine, straightforward, honest, and get you points in that interview room. And so if you are excited, definitely stick around until the end because I'm going to give you guys a really juicy bonus that allows you to turn any awkward formal conversation into a really amazing conversation that lasts for hours and leaves them wanting more. So if you guys are pumped to dive in, smash that like button and let's go. Step one of building out this answer is to choose one experience that we're actually going to build this answer around. So we have basically three categories of things to choose from. The first category, and arguably the strongest, is if you have a professional experience around lawyers. So if you interned with lawyers, if you worked at a company where lawyers were around, or if you were a paralegal, something around that aspect of the industry is going to be really strong. If you don't have that, that's totally fine. The next category that we're going to pull from is a professional experience where you weren't necessarily around lawyers, but you exhibited skills or practiced a skill set that lawyers and law firms value. And then if you don't have that, another option for us to build this answer around is just interaction with lawyers. So maybe you have lawyers who are family members, friends, colleagues, maybe you did cold reach outs on LinkedIn. And one of the things to keep in mind as we're choosing this experience is it doesn't matter what level of experience it was. It doesn't matter if it was paid or unpaid. It doesn't matter if it was 6 weeks or 3 years. It doesn't matter if it was a student organization. We're looking for your strongest experience to draw from, and whatever that is, that's what we'll use. Step two to building out this answer is excitement. So regardless of the experience that you chose, what we're going to want to reinforce and really showcase is your excitement about a job as a lawyer. And so that could be anything from having to think on your feet on a daily basis and put out fires, to being challenged and really pushed outside of your comfort zone, to finding creative solutions to complex problems, to advocating on behalf of others, really making a meaningful impact in people's lives and businesses. We want to connect what it was we experienced with this excitement and interest in pursuing a career in the law. The third really rock solid piece to this answer is articulating the skills that you developed from this experience and the value that you're going to bring to a law firm. So when we're talking about the skills that we want to articulate, we want the law firm to know that we know what skills make a good lawyer and what value that can bring to a law firm. And the good news is that all law firms basically value the same skills. So you can use this over and over regardless of the law firm or the organization that you're interviewing with. But some of these universal lawyering skills that are really highly valued are things like paying close attention to detail, staying calm under pressure, prioritizing and juggling multiple projects at the same time, basically being able to think on your feet and come up with creative solutions to problems. And so when we are articulating these things, we want to make sure that not only are we drawing them back to the experiences that we had, but we're also doing it in a vibe of how we can serve the law firm. So anytime that you can really tie this back to what is the value that you can bring to this position? How can you take work off of people's plates? How can you make other lawyers' lives easier on this team or at this firm? That's how we want to articulate the skills and the value that we're bringing. So let's put all of this together in a way that I might potentially answer this question: why did you go to law school, in a law firm interview? And for this example, I'm going to use kind of a combination of that second category of experiences, a professional experience that has nothing to do with lawyers, and that third category of maybe some conversations I've had with lawyers from cold reach outs on LinkedIn. So if I got asked, why did you go to law school, from a law firm interviewer, I might say something like, well, in high school, I worked as a Starbucks barista, and that was actually a surprisingly challenging job. I had to think on my feet a lot. We were serving over 100 customers an hour, so I had a lot of things to juggle. I had to stay calm under pressure. And even though it had nothing to do related to the legal industry, I later found out that there were a lot of the skills that I was developing that really served other lawyers in that same capacity. So I had different conversations with people on LinkedIn, and they all mentioned some of these different pieces of having to really prioritize and juggle a lot of projects, put out fires that come up, make sure that you are communicating clearly and concisely. And so when I realized that those were the kind of challenges, the kind of skills that really lit me up, I really started thinking about a career in the law for the first time. And now, having made that decision and having gone through a year of law school, I'm so incredibly glad that I did. I'm incredibly excited to pursue this path and really step into this next phase of becoming a full-time lawyer and being able to use those skills in a legal capacity. So as you can see, it doesn't really matter what experience you choose. It can be something as unrelated to the law as a Starbucks barista, or it could be something incredibly related to the law, like interning in a law firm, which will be a better fit for that answer. But that's okay. Whatever you have available to you in your lifetime, in your experiences, in your conversations, you can use and still make sure that you are tying it back to what a law firm will value and how you can hype yourself up for this position. Now, there are 3 ways I would recommend not answering this question, and these are pitfalls that a lot of law students still fall into. And the first one is saying, I don't know. That is the worst answer you can possibly give to the question, why did you go to law school? I don't know, I didn't know what else to do, my parents told me to go. It definitely indicates that you haven't thought this through, that you're not really sure what a lawyer does, that you're not really that excited or interested in this path at all. The second way to not answer this question is with any sort of cliche answers. So a lot of the times law students will say things like, well, I went to law school because my parents told me I was good at arguing. Please never ever answer this question that way. Also never answer this question with something like, oh, well, I watched every episode of Law and Order growing up. That's a fine answer when you're kind of talking at a cocktail party or a networking event. But if this is an actual interview for a position, you want to show that you have an understanding, a deeper understanding of what law firms do and how lawyers act and what the skill sets are that they value, more mature and more complex than something simple and basic that might actually be true, but was sort of the seed that started this when you were 7 or when you were 13 years old. We want to really up-level this answer for a professional man or woman that you now are. And the third way to not answer this question, which is a little uncomfortable, is being too altruistic. And this is tough because this is something I fell into and that a lot of law students fall into, because a lot of us did go to law school because we wanted to help people, or we wanted to make a difference, or we wanted to serve underprivileged communities. But if you are interviewing for a law firm position, it's really important to signal to them that you understand what it is they do at the law firm and that you're excited about what it is they do at the law firm. And so make sure you're steering clear of a lot of that language of, I went to law school because I wanted to help people, or I wanted to work in a public interest position, because basically what you're communicating to them is that I don't really want to be here at all, and maybe I'm just taking this job for the paycheck and I'll leave as soon as I can. And so when you're crafting your answer to this, make sure that you're thinking about the skills and the interests and the abilities that you have that can serve this team, that can serve this law firm, that can serve this position, and why you're excited about those things. All right, guys, if you've made it to this point in the video, I am so excited to share with you my favorite resource in getting prepared for law firm interviews and getting really confident heading in, which is this, the best questions to ask in law firm interviews guide. And this is the list of questions that I use in every single one of my law firm interviews that really took these sort of stuffy, formal interviews into really genuine connecting conversations. Because inevitably in a law firm interview, you are going to be asked, so do you have any questions for us? And we want to take full advantage of this moment because it finally allows the spotlight to come off of us and to really create a connection with the person sitting across the table. And it allows you to show interest in them, interest in their work, interest in this position. And this is where these amazing conversations happen. So I highly recommend grabbing this guide. I will definitely link it in the description below this video. And if you guys are heading into interviews and want to see some of the other questions that law firms love to answer or love to ask and how to answer them, then check out this playlist. It has all of the videos I've made on the most popular law firm interview questions and how to go about answering them. And if you guys are going through the interview process right now, definitely let us know in the comments how it's going and if you had any questions that just came out of left field and surprised you. So I cannot wait to hear how it goes, guys, and I will see you in the next one.